So I've been working in the IT industry almost since I could remember, the late 1980s. I worked mostly with security all the time, and it has been really interesting for me to see the development in this area. Until 1 year ago, whenever a person like me came out talking about security, people would think I was just a paranoid geek sitting in my basement with a tinfoil hat on, drinking Coca-Cola and watching science fiction. And now everybody is interested in talking about security. So it's a nice development.
Mm-hmm. And from your vantage point, what are the top 3 threats your software solutions detect today?
So the top 3 threats, that's the widest threat. They are the ones that are out there and attacks all of us. That's basic ransomware, other types of virus that hits you and me and all small and large companies. We have done that for many years and we are really good at it. The other one is the more advanced threats that comes maybe where not just small-time criminals are behind it, but more serious organizations, and we see a big development in that across the globe. The third one is industrial protection and critical infrastructure, because we see a development where these type of industries and organizations are now becoming a target. So we are helping across the world figuring out how can we protect energy supplies, water supplies, trains, buses and so on.
And what do you think is the major idea of the hackers behind, the criminals behind, to get the data? What is their major interest? Is it money? Is it control?
So our statistics shows that in 99.9% of the incidents, it's basically regular criminals who moved from the analog world to the digital world. And only 0.1% of the attacks are actually state-sponsored or national-driven attacks.
So it's down to money?
It's down to money, yes.
Stealing credit card numbers, that's
yes,
the
it
equivalent
is.
to
Yes.
getting data. So how can consumers, I mean, you're dealing with both sides, so you're dealing with the industry and the consumers. How can we sensitize them more? Because they're used to using virus scanners. I just checked in Germany, we have like a 90% rate of people using virus scanners,
Yes.
but that's not the only threat. So how can we educate them? What can we do to?
And that's exactly the right topic, educate, because yes, we have all the technology. Most people use antivirus software. On the phones, they are not so good as 90%. It's less than 50% who protect their mobile phones, even though we use it very much for our internet connection. But it's very much about education and hopefully driven on a national level, where we educate regular consumers about what should they be aware of when they receive a phone call from Microsoft. Is it really from Microsoft support, or is it somebody who wants access to their computer? We need to help educate them, and that's very important.
Well, what would be a good tool to educate the people? How to reach them?
How to reach them is, some of it is what you are doing, creating videos, presenting messages on YouTube, but it could also be on a national level. From our side, we have in many countries launched a book for children that helps parents talk to their children about how should they have a safe and secure life on the internet. So there are many angles to education, but it's really crucial.
Tell me a little bit more about that book. I find that interesting. What age are you addressing?
So we are addressing the age from 5-6 years and until 10-12 years. And the reason behind it is that I'm a parent myself, and even though I know technology, I see it's very difficult for parents to understand how to talk to their children about the use of IT, because usually their 5-year-old kids, they understand much more than they do, so they cannot advise them in the same way. So the reason why we made the book, and we had a children's book writer to do it, so we write it in a language they understand. And the reason is that the parents can use it as a bridge to have this talk with their children. Also, we see it being used across Europe in schools as a tool just to have the discussion about it.
Oh, okay, sometimes I see that the children are even better.
Yes.
They have a better knowledge than the parents. So what do you do on the other side? Do you also have like books or stories, or how do you educate the adults.
So it's actually part of it, because the intention is that the children read the book with their parents, and then yes, in the process the parents actually get educated, but it helps the parents keep the role as you could say the authority is maybe not so right word, but help them keep the advisor role for their kids.
If I look at the security reports from different companies, also including Microsoft, IBM and whatnot, they state that over 50% of data breaches are still down to human error,
yes.
like the phishing, the social engineering. How can we overcome this?
Again, by education, not with the children book in this case, but what we have done is that we have made it actually very easy for organizations to learn this. Typically, it starts with the board of directors. They need to figure out what is IT security, how can we address this in our company. So we have a board game that we play with these guys. It's an old school board game that is simulating IT security, and they get to have a discussion about it. Once the board of directors understands security, then they can roll out education to all their employees. It's not scalable to have them all sit and play board games, but so we have an electronic platform where they can roll out education and customize it in the way that suits the company. And from HR departments, they can measure how are the employees doing in this field. So the idea is to raise the awareness level and set a baseline for understanding security. And unfortunately, we see every time that in organizations, people still think, okay, I can pick up a USB drive and set into my, or if I get a mail from this guy, then I should trust him. So it's still down to basic things that people need to change their behavior on.
Yeah, I really like the approach that you have with the gaming or reading aspect. But if it comes to board members, they speak the language of money. Does that help if you tell them, the risk that they have, or you show them numbers? Can you give us a few numbers of data breaches?
If I just run into a boardroom full of board members and talk about threats and money, then they will not listen to me. But if they agree to play this game and actually get the discussion between themselves, because they have different roles, there's the CFO, there's the CSO, there's the CIO and the CEO, they do different things. But when they get to talk about these things, they figure out what is the threat against our company. We don't care about the threats about these guys, but what is the threat against our company? When they understand that, then they are open to have the discussion.
And maybe as a closing comment, can you give us an outlook of what you expect in the future, how cybercrime will develop? Cybercrime
will definitely develop, and what is we will still see the crimes against normal consumers to get a few bitcoins from them. But what will develop is attacks against critical infrastructure and in the industry with very old SCADA systems.